If you've ever noticed that you slow down when a certain car drives past, or you can identify an engine sound before you even see the vehicle, or you feel something shift in you when you sit in the driver's seat, even before the engine starts, it doesn't look like a big deal, but it says more than you think. People who love cars often believe it's just about speed, design, or engineering. And yes, on the surface it is. The curves, the horsepower, the sound of acceleration, those things matter. But psychologically, it usually goes deeper than preference. Because loving cars isn't just about transportation. It's about control, identity, and emotional regulation. Think about the micro behaviors. You might rewatch car reviews late at night. You might know the subtle differences between model years. You might feel calm just cleaning your car, even if the rest of your life feels chaotic. That's not random interest. That's attachment. Cars represent something very specific in the human mind. Movement with control. For many people, especially those who love cars deeply, life has often felt unpredictable. Emotions, people, expectations, conversations, social rules. But a car? A car responds. You turn the wheel, it turns. You press the pedal, it moves. You maintain it, it rewards you. There's clarity in that relationship. And for someone whose environment once felt confusing or emotionally inconsistent, that clarity feels safe. That's not immaturity, it's regulation. A lot of car enthusiasts aren't just fascinated by machines. They're drawn to systems that make sense. Systems where cause and effect are visible, where effort produces measurable results. Underneath that is often a personality that values autonomy, not necessarily dominance, autonomy. The ability to move when you choose, leave when you choose, explore without depending on someone else's mood or approval. Cars symbolize independence in a very physical way. You're not waiting, you're not negotiating, you're not explaining yourself. You're driving. And here's where it gets interesting. The real attachment often isn't to the car itself. It's to the state of mind the car creates. Notice how different you feel behind the wheel. More focused, more present, less entangled in social noise. Driving narrows your attention. It simplifies the world into lanes, mirrors, speed, distance. For someone who tends to overthink, overanalyze, or carry emotional weight, that narrowing is relief. It quiets the mental clutter. That's why long drives feel therapeutic to some people, not because they're escaping life, but because they're finally experiencing a structured kind of control. And control, psychologically, is often about safety. People who love cars sometimes grew up in environments where emotional expression wasn't straightforward, or where their identity felt undefined. Cars offer something solid to attach to. They have names, specs, histories, categories. You can master them, and mastery feels stabilizing. There's also something deeply identity-based happening. Cars are extensions of the self. Even people who say it's not about showing off still feel a quiet sense of alignment when the car matches who they are internally. Aggressive design, minimalist interior, classic restoration, electric innovation. Each preference reveals something about temperament. Some love vintage cars because they feel drawn to nostalgia, permanence, craftsmanship, things that feel lost in modern life. Some love high-performance vehicles because intensity feels honest, speed feels like truth, precision feels powerful. Some love modifying cars because customization mirrors a deeper need, shaping the external world when the internal one once felt shaped by others. And then there's the community layer. Car meets, forums, conversations about torque ratios and body lines. On the surface, it's about shared interest. Underneath, it's belonging without forced vulnerability. You don't have to talk about your fears or your childhood. You can talk about engines. And through that shared language, connection forms. For many emotionally reserved personalities, that's safer than direct emotional exposure. It's structured connection. Now let's go one level deeper. There's a subtle emotional rhythm in people who love cars.
They often pay attention to details others overlook: small sounds, minor vibrations, slight performance differences. That attentiveness sometimes mirrors how they move through life: hyper-aware, observant, sensitive to shifts. But instead of applying that sensitivity to unpredictable people, they apply it to something mechanical, something reliable. That's not avoidance, it's redirection. Cars also represent progress in a very literal sense: forward motion. And for people who felt stuck in other areas, emotionally, socially, professionally, that forward motion can feel symbolic. Even sitting in a parked car can create the sensation of potential movement. You could leave. You could go anywhere. That possibility matters more than people realize, because psychologically, perceived freedom is almost as powerful as actual freedom. And here's something most people don't talk about. For some, loving cars is tied to memory: a parent who worked on engines, a first drive alone at night, a moment where driving meant escape. When a machine becomes tied to emotional turning points, it stops being a machine. It becomes a container for identity shifts. That's why criticism of someone's car can feel strangely personal. It's not about the object, it's about what it represents: control, taste, independence, competence. When you understand that, the passion makes more sense. It was never just about horsepower. It was about stability and motion, about having something in your life that responds predictably when you engage with it, about carving out a small domain where you feel capable and in charge. And once you see that pattern, it reframes everything: the late-night research, the careful parking, the quiet pride. It wasn't random. It was psychological alignment. People who love cars aren't shallow. They're often deeply wired for autonomy, structure, and sensory clarity. They gravitate toward environments where cause and effect are honest, where effort shows, where identity can be expressed without long explanations. And that awareness alone shifts how you see it. It was never just about the car. It was about what the car allowed you to feel. And once you recognize that, you start to understand yourself a little more clearly. If this explains something for you, there's always more beneath the surface. Understanding your patterns is the beginning of everything.